modernism, and then so many posts were added to that. So it's a non-Eurocentric form and a post-colonial form. And this is the form which goes very well with what is happening to people seminar says, cultural episteme of other time. And I'm just avoiding the use of the word postmodern, and the cultural episteme of our time, which with reference to Alan Keating, I said, is the era, the time of digi-modernism, digital era, and which some other people call it cellular age. We are living in the cellular age, and let's see how artificial intelligence changes the world. This is, I have to say. Yes, Bishop.
Please join me in expressing our sincere gratitude to Professor Joshi for delivering an enlightening and thought-provoking key address. He has not only shared his extensive knowledge, but also have provided us with fresh perspectives and insights that will undoubtedly contribute significantly to our understanding of this conference team. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. It is my distinct pleasure and privilege to welcome each and every one of you to the momentous occasion, the book release event for the collection of selected research papers of the first international conference published by MacBrain Publishing House, New Delhi, and edited by Dr. Sanjay Prasad Pandey, Dr. Sudhi Narayan Singh, and Dr. Raman Kumar. So we are here to celebrate the culmination of groundbreaking research and scholarly endeavors, thanks to MacBrain Publishing House and the esteemed editors for their commitment to advancing knowledge. To the authors, your contributions are invaluable. And today, let's engage in official release of this impactful collection.
As conference convener, it is a proud privilege for all of us, and that we are getting our book released by Honorable Professor Prakash Joshi sir. Thank you. Thanks for doing this. Honor to all of us, and it's great listening to you, sir, throughout. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me to speak.
Sir, we are humble, and a deep gratitude is due to us from our side, and
thank you,
it
sir.
has
Thank
been
you.
all enlightening, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And this book is available digitally only, or is it available in print too, sir?
It's print only, but it is being released in digital. But,
right.
Yes, book is printed only.
It's available on Amazon.
It's come very recently, so it may be.
Okay. Right.
It came this week only, sir. This week.
Mm-hmm. So it will be soon there on Amazon.
Yeah. And it's the great endeavor of Dr. Sanjay Prasad Pandey and
congratulations, Professor Pandey. Congratulations, you, Professor Singh Sahab, and everyone, the entire team. I see 3 editors there. So congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to all contributors.
Thanks to all the contributors. And
congratulations, Professor Pandey. Congratulations, thank you, Professor Singh Sahab. Thank you, sir. Everyone, the entire team. I see 3 editors there. Congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to all contributors.
Actually, this book is available in print, and we wanted to release it today only on the second day of this international conference. And this book can be ordered, or those who want to buy this book, they can order from Mapping Publication. So they are New Delhi based publishers. So I'll be sharing their contact number. They can purchase the book from there. And the selected papers from the last year conference have been published in this book. And it is available with the publishers, with the publisher, Mapping Publication House.
Not on Amazon. Is it not available on Amazon? Not yet.
And I came to know from the publisher that it is available on Flipkart also.
Okay.
Is it available also? So, okay. And after a couple of days, it will be available on Amazon also. But at present, it is available on Flipkart.
Right.
Thank you.
It's coming up on Amazon soon.
It's a deep.
It will be available. Yes.
Thank you once again to Professor Joshi.
Vishnu, over to you. Vishnu, over to you. Over to you.
Once again, a very big thank you to Professor Joshi for releasing this edition of this publication. And also a big thank you to My Brain Publishing House, that is based in New Delhi, and also the esteemed editors, especially Dr. Sanjay Prasad Pandey, Dr. Sudhir Narayan Singh, and Dr. Raman Kumar. Thank you once again. So, continuing our journey through the rich landscape of postmodern thought, it is my pleasure to introduce our next distinguished speaker for the day. I would like to invite Dr. Leon Bashirahishize, Faculty of English, Burundi, Higher Institute of Education, Burundi. And let us warmly welcome him as he guides us through another enlightening session. Dr. Leon is a Burundian lecturer and researcher with a Master's in Arts and British Literature from Lovely Professional University, India, and a PhD in American Literature from Moi University, Kenya. As a full-time lecturer at the Burundi Higher Institute of Education since 2008, he teaches American literature, literary theory, research-related subjects, and provides academic guidance to master's students. Additionally, he serves on the editorial board of the peer-reviewed journal, The Achievers Journal, focusing on post-colonial issues, freedom, social media, education challenges, eco-criticism, and societal review in his research pursuits. Beyond his editorial responsibilities, he actively participates in the meticulous review process for submitted articles, contributing to the scholarly discourse in his field. His research interests encompass a diverse array of topics rooted in post-colonial issues, his exploration of the concept of freedom, ongoing challenges to the liberation of the human soul, the impact of social media on global dynamics, contemporary challenge in education, the eco-critical spirit in modern writings, and the intersection of memories and societal review showcase the breadth and depth of his intellectual curiosity. So please welcome Dr. Leon for his address.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. I'm very glad to have this moment just to share with you toughest members, toughest coordinators, but also the different participants in this international conference on this key issue related to literary and cultural episteme in connection with postmodernism. As you had already said, I'm Professor Leon Bashirahishize from Burundi, and I'm really interested in literary issues, especially postmodernism and most of the time post-colonial issues. Now, my point I would like to share with you today is articulated under the topic the postmodernism artifact, a complex concept in the contemporary literary and artistic world. Now, this point actually about cultural and literary episteme will be understood within the African context because I wanted to narrow it down so that I should not delve into a long distance in a way to explore systematically how the postmodernism world can be understood, especially without the African context, regarding the African authors and artists in connection with what has been produced since after World War II till today. Now, human thought is versatile. It keeps changing from time to time and from place to place as life obligations try to get along with geopolitical, historical, cultural, and social mutations. The contemporary thought on postmodernism today offers a scholar in order to understand and to capture deeply and exactly what the modern postmodernism is. We need to compartmentalize this period of postmodernism within three waves. And these three waves have been thought in connection with how the human thought and how the human society has evolved from the time when the World War II was over, especially from the 1950s till the present time. Now, it is very important to know that every wave has a particular historical and cultural, but also literary traits inspired by the topical issues of the time. And going very quickly, let us now examine these three ways that I have tried to investigate, at least from the World War II and until the modern time, the 21st century, this period we are living right now. Now, we have already said that this period can be compartmentalized within three periods. The first period goes actually from the World War, the end of World War II, that is around the 1950s, going, let's say, up to the late 1970s. And the second wave of postmodernist thinking can be situated from the 1970s, late 1970s, then going down up to the late 1990s. But after this period of second wave of postmodernist thinking, we just get the last one, the third wave, that we have tried to situate within the period located from the 20,000s up to the present moment. This very time we are interacting physically and intellectually, the Hiketnung, the life and opportunities we are experiencing day after day in our present, in our public, private, and professional experience. Now, examining the first wave, which has been named as the remote postmodernism view and thought. This is a period we have already said, which can be roughly situated from the early 1950s till the late 1970s. I want my listeners and the whole audience to understand what I'm saying. I have already indicated that my point especially bases on achievements that have been made by some African artists and writers just to understand the cultural and literary episteme that characterized the different moments of the time during what we may call the post-modernist era in African perspective. That is the reason why I want my listeners or the audience to understand my point of view. Now, the period that we have already nominated as the modern postmodernism, that we have situated within the period going from 1950s going up to 1970s. That was a period which actually was inspired by human spirit of irrational violence caused by the power abuse, especially quickly after the accession of elite, the political elite to power, when the white master went back. Now, that is a period actually which is very hot in the history of African writers, art history, the history of African artists. Writers, industry, and artists of the time expressed a feeling of dissatisfaction against the growing corruption and public embezzlements, the totalitarian and the tyrannical dictatorships. We just find some notable works like The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, a novel which was written by Armand Aikwe, which actually discusses the evils of corruption that characterized the African political landscape shortly after independence. That is a novel which actually deplores the lost opportunities, the lost independence, the lost hopes that the masses, that the African people, especially the Ghanaians at home. But this is the microcosmic representation which actually at macrocosmic level represents the African masses. It is actually a thing to enjoy, but actually they were buried underground by this corrupt elite, which did nothing to promote the African masses, but rather to take everything, individualize, personalize, until the liberated masses became now slaves at their own home. We also have another representative writer with his novels. This is Chinwachebe. The novels which are very indicative to this point. We can just examine novels like No Longer It Is, which was published in 1960. We have Among the People, so it is about this period. We also have another important novel which depicts the horrors of the time, Ant Hills of Savannah. These three works, along with Armand Aikwe's novel, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, actually, these are novels that epitomize the pain that the African masses, that the African people experienced by the time when the colonial master went home, and then when the African
ITRC आ जाइएगा, चाय मंगाए हैं, कोई और नहीं है, हम ही लोग हैं, ठीक है?
This is the epoch we have in mind. This is the epoch of the military coups, and the military coups pervade the political landscape with regard to what was understood as the power change in many states, and not only Africa, but across the global south. Because even when we examine what was taking place in Latin America, in Central American countries like Nicaragua, like Colombia, like Venezuela, like Honduras, even like Brazil, now passing by Africa, we've already said in countries like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Togo, like Burundi, my country, like Uganda, for example. We just find that the military coup system was the only way to operate political change. And for every time there was a coup, it was automatically succeeded by bloodbath. That was really the period which we can describe, which can be understood as the period of darkness. Now, the social and literary episteme of the period was featured by a feeling of disenchantment. Disenchantment because it was characterized by moral disappointment, bitterness, disillusionment, and it was also a period of profound despair that is also found in V.S. Naples' Bend in the River. A Bend in the River, it is a novel that I would like to advise anyone who would like to know much more about the post-colonial Africa, a novel that actually, to me and to some other scholars, have qualified as the real African novel which describes what Africa looks like. V.S. Naples is generally known not as an African writer, and of course it's quite understandable, he's never lived in Africa, but as a scholar he traveled along in many African countries like Congo, which was a Zaire in the past, like Uganda as well. And then he came up with a novel that he wrote. Actually, the novel is about Congo, DRC Congo today, which was normally known as the Zaire during the period of Mobutu as president. And the novel actually captures the trouble, captures the darkness, captures the horrors that were characterizing the Congo, that African country at the time, but also Uganda, which was also one of the two countries just it is really a novel which is very indicative, a novel which describes the eschatological world, what was happening across Africa, but basing specifically his hub in Congo and in Uganda. The literary works of this period, we have already said, they describe a kind of pandemonium where the hopes for the new emerging nations are totally obliterated by a corrupt and tyrannical. Examining the second wave of postmodernism, we have tried to locate it from the period which goes from the 1970s, late 1970s, going down up to 1990s, late 1990s. This period, we have called it the middle postmodernism. In this period, the difference between itself and the previous one is that the military coups are going to increase. However, even then, the military coups are going to increase. We justify that the public embezzlements, the corruption, but also the totalitarian rule or dictatorship are still commonplace and are still rampant in many African and Latin nations. The most striking change of the period, of course, at political level, it is only the advent of democracy. That is a new introduction of political line, the way which is introduced by the West, just to see how the way power change should take another form in order to avoid these military coups and also the subsequent bloodbath that had characterized any political change. Now, what people might understand, generally, when evoking the concept of democracy, we automatically understand the issues related to freedom. We automatically understand the issues related to management. We automatically understand the issues related to peace development. But during this period, it is quite the opposite. What we generally see we just find that the new so-called democratic government that are going to be established across different countries are actually going to radicalize the political management, and the main line of the political agenda is to exclude the other voice. To exclude the other voice, to put out of the center anyone who has a different opinion. Now, in the name of democracy, we just find that the common man is crushed to the ground in the same way bats are crushed to bullets. We just watch chaos running in many nations, many African nations. And it is the age that we say an age characterized by moral dysfunction, where people have actually lost any kind of hope, where everything is bitter and dark, where actually the sun no longer shines, but only it is darkness which is covering the whole nation, the whole spirit, the whole human being under this political frame. Now, anxiety and the fear for tomorrow grow in the hearts of the deprived masses that are forced to flee their homes to seek asylum in other countries. Now, examining the literary works of this period that have been signed, that have been offered by many great writers, citing, for example, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, literary icon, a literary African but international icon, we can just examine his novel Petals of Blood, which actually reflects this kind of picture of the 1970s, 1980s, a world which is covered by despair. We examining what's produced during this period, then, the cultural and the literary episteme of this time that was developed, mainly based its core on the social malaise. It was the social malaise which characterized most of the time the writings of the time, the cultural disintegration, the loss of home, and a nostalgic feeling to die poor, but also wandering because of what? Simply put, because of the greed of the man on power. We have another writer, Professor Marie-Thérèse Todi, whose novel Weep Not Refugee, that is a novel which is sometimes confused with Ngugi wa Thiong'o's Weep Not Child. But this novel, I would like to focus on is Weep Not Refugee, a novel which was actually offered and also discussing, reflecting the same issues of this black world, of this dissatisfying climate, of this landscape, which actually indicates bitterness and darkness everywhere. It is a novel actually which talks about a very young lady, who lives in Burundi, but when a civil war breaks out, the young lady has to run away from the way refugees have to run in order to see how they can save their lives. And then as the young lady is running with her mother, the mother is caught, people who rape her, and after raping her, she's drawn into river. Now, the father is chopped into pieces, and our protagonist, she's also caught, raped, and she's raped by a philanthropist who's trying to indicate or simply put to show that he would like to save her. But the one who indicates, the one who demonstrates feelings of of assistance is the one who molests the lamb. Now, all these, all the many writings of the time, they actually portray a world which is covered by despair, a world which actually indicates that the world is spinning out of control. Now, the third phase, or the third wave of postmodernism that we try to compartmentalize within this paper has been called the contemporary postmodernism, or simply put, the age of artistic dubitation. I would here like to insist on this terminology, the age of artistic dubitation, because I have just found that it is a period which quite is different from what the other previous periods were. The contemporary postmodernism is actually a period we are living. This moment we are interacting physically and intellectually, the opportunities we are gaining in life, but also the challenges we are experiencing in our private, public, but also professional existence. Now, it is this period which is very difficult to define, because what I would like to call the contemporary postmodernism, actually it is a period which merges the past with the present, and a past which is very difficult to dissociate from the present in an era that actually is dominated by the digital world. Professor Joshi, who preceded me in his wonderful and important talk, has already cited one important point when he was saying the 20th century is a new cultural paradigm. It is actually a new cultural paradigm which discloses a lot of characteristics that can be very hard to define, simply very hard to characterize, because it shows something which is quite different from what it is. That's why this period has been baptized as the age of artistic dubitation. We have already said it is a period difficult to define as the past merges with the present, and a past that never ends and yet reappears to impact the human existence in all fields of life. Now, basing on his achievement, although he was not the first one to coin the concept of postmodernism, postmodernism as a concept was really valorized by Jean-François Lyotard. Jean-François Lyotard is a French critic and a philosopher of the 20th century. A lot of ideas with regard to how postmodernist world was conceived and what postmodernism was. The problem we have is within the concept itself. Can we really today speak of postmodernism in the way we understand it, in the way Jean-François Lyotard introduced the concept in the 1970s, 1980s? Of course, to me as a researcher, this is very debatable. Why do I say it is debatable? When we say that the period we are living today, this period which is starting from the 2000s till the present moment, if we call it today, I think we would miss the right ways to qualify it, the right ways to explain in which way it is concept works. Of course, when speaking of postmodernism, we understand that this prefix post because the period came to qualify the period we are living in as postmodernism, because actually it offers a lot of multidisciplinarity that actually shows something which is quite different. That is why, in my opinion, that is the age of dubitation. Dubitation because examining what the modern digital world is offering, examining what the modern opinion is giving, examining what the modern thinking looks like, even the modern writings, even the modern arts. By arts, we can even take a film, we can take a cinema, we can take a painting. We just find that today, Professor Poshi, sorry, I might have probably cited his name wrongly. Poshi, I think Professor Poshi, yes, has already indicated one important thing, a world which is characterized by a lot of changes, and a world which actually does not correlate with what has preceded. That is the reason why we qualify this as a new age, which cannot be aligned together with the world of Jean-Francois Lyotard, which actually dominated the 1970s, 1980s, up to late 1990s.
So, can you conclude like within 2-3 minutes?
Yes,
Awesome.
just 2 minutes and I finish, sir.
Right.
This concept introduces, a clear and a direct meaning that is marked by the extreme anxieties, the uncertainties and the distrust, the suspicion and the misgiving caused by unfulfilled hopes, and of course the aborted expectations experienced by humans across the globe. But most of the time, this age also, which is dominated by the digital area. Now, there's no common canon that can define modern writers or even modern artists and thinkers. It is actually featured by extreme capitalism, secretive and domineering political structures to sow peace or chaos, but also to bring sunshine. An age where those who have capability may bring sunshine or storms whenever they want to cause many nations. There is always the tussle between the rich and the poor, between the ruler and the ruled, between the haves and the have-nots, between the West and the global South. It is this contemporary period which cannot really be qualified postmodernism because it discloses no relation, no sign of posterity, no sign of continuation with the modern spirits in terms of the modernist spirits, in terms of philosophy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This is the end of my point. Thank you.
We extend our heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Bashirahishize for sharing his profound insights and expertise. We are grateful for the engaging and enlightening presentation that has added immeasurable value to our conference. Thank you once again, sir. As we delve deeper into the discourse on postmodernism, it is my honor to introduce our third esteemed speaker for today. With a keen understanding of the complexities within our conference team, he promised to offer fresh perspectives and thought-provoking insights. Without further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Habib Haideri, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Arts and Humanities, Sultan Maule Shimani University, Beni Mellal, Morocco. Let us extend a warm welcome as he shares his expertise with us. Dr. Habib Haideri is an assistant professor at the Faculty of Arts and Humanities in Beni Mellal, with 14 years of experience as an English teacher in Moroccan high schools and 4 years as an ELT supervisor. He brings a wealth of expertise to this current role. Dr. Haideri, a certified PCELT trainer, served as the regional coordinator of the ELT supervision team in the Beni Mellal Kenifra region for 1 year. His academic interests span English literature and language teaching, while his creative side shines through his passion for writing poetry. In 2018, he published his first collection, Bees in the Bonnet. Please welcome Dr. Habib Haideri.
Hello everyone. Good morning from Morocco. First of all, it seems to me to be very intimate relevance to express my very warm thanks and gratitude to the Achievers Foundation for English Studies for the invitation. And I would like also to thank all the organizers of this international conference on recent trends in postmodernism, reappraising literary and culturally episteme. I have chosen to talk about Kazui Shuguru. It is a writer that I have worked a lot on, and especially in my PhD, in my doctoral thesis. Before talking about postmodern resonances in Kazui Shuguru's works, I would like to say something about Kazui Shuguru. Kazui Shuguru himself, in one of his interviews, expresses his desire not to be literally classified and categorized. He doesn't like to use these literary labels as postmodern or sci-fi writer or fantasy writer. But he says that he wants to read fiction and to write fiction for the sake of fiction. But this cannot clothe the fact that there are some important postmodern echoes and resonances in his fiction. I have decided to choose 3 of his works: Never Let Me Go, which was published in 2005, and Nocturnes, which is a collection of short stories, which was published in 2009, and his last novel, Clara and the Sun, which was published in 2021. So these are, if you like, literary works that belong to the 21st century. The 2 presentations that preceded me that have raised very important issues that I'm going to build on. One of the points that was raised, especially in the first presentation, is the idea of modernism, and raising the idea that today we live in an era of digital information and technology. And I think that the topics that have been raised by Kazui Shuguru in these 2 books have to do with this idea of biotechnology and robotics and cosmetic surgeries. And what I would like to say is that Ishiburu's fiction is not a literary deviant when it comes to postmodern writings. It is not markedly different from the mainstream criticism of capitalism and its manipulative power. So Ishiguro provides a caricatural representation of the postmodern science. He criticizes the postmodern science and blames this science for the distortion of the real, for the distortion of all that is natural and all that is normal. And also the role of capitalism in bringing about that idea of commodification. He wants to say that the world of today is characterized by the commodification of everything, and he focuses basically on the commodification of intelligence. It is not just human and real intelligence, but also the artificial intelligence. Also the commodification of beauty and the commodification of emotions. And these are the 2 ideas that I'm going to focus on in my presentation. So Kazui Shuguru seeks to uncover the abyss beneath our connection to the scientific knowledge that surround us in the world of today. And his fiction implies that as capitalism maturates and as capitalism continues to exist, the process of commodification goes massively visible. His fiction is a reaction, and here I'm going to clarify a certain point. The way I understand post does not always mean after, but it also means a reaction to. So his fiction is a reaction against the intricate, established relationship between scientific knowledge and commodity in an industry-based world. It's a lamentation of the failure of scientists in the technology, in biotechnology, digital electronics, and cosmetic surgeries to withstand the greed and power of capitalists, money-oriented industrialists who leverage intellectual abilities to their advantage. Kazu Ishiguro pokes criticism at the scientific mind and blames this mind for the distortion of the nature and creates new forms of relationships. Kazu Ishiguro provides a caricatural description of a dystopian world where everything becomes a profitable business. Everything becomes a commodity. And the boundaries between the real and the simulated is blurred and wobbly. Thus, his literary works can be considered a moral animadversion upon the business dimension of science that serves the interests of consumer societies and fosters a culture that is based on the idea of the commodification of everything. In this presentation, as I have already said, I'm going to focus on the intelligence of the commodity, beauty as a commodity, and emotions as a commodity in the fiction of Kazu Ishiguro. And I'm going to focus on four main concepts in the analysis of the three books and the study and the explanation of the three commodities. The first concept is that of hegemony, Gramsci's notion of hegemony, and the perception of power by Foucault, and the idea of simulacrum by Baudrillard, and also the idea of the critique of everyday life by Henry Lefebvre. Thus, Ishiguro's fiction documents a phase of capitalism marked by what theorists like Thomas Kuhn and Paul Feyerabend call scientific paradigm shifts. He dwells on the shift to advanced biotechnologies, artificial intelligence, sophisticated medical surgeries, and new patterns of production, consumption, and marketing. He holds this paradigm, this scientific paradigm shift, responsible for the killing of the real and for creating new forms of human relationships. So instead of talking about human-human relationship in the world of today, and according to Kazu Ishiguro, we can talk about cloned humans interacting with real humans, as it is the case in his novel Never Let Me Go. We can also talk about the interaction of a machine, that is a robot, an artificial friend, with humans, as it is the case with Clara, Rose, and Rex as artificial friends in the novel of Clara and the Sun. So he implies the idea that the technology of today and the development, the scientific developments that have taken place in the world of today have contributed, if you like, to the creation of these new forms of relationships. So his literary works fit in the overall picture of postmodern literature that is still surviving as capitalism keeps maturing and spreading out in the world. He criticizes the commodification of everything in the postmodern age. It is the criticism of what Jameson calls, in the interview conducted by Bombard, the logic of the commodity system. His fiction shows that postmodernism is still in intemperance while dealing with capitalism as an economic system that renders everything a business to gain profits and have the upper hand over the world. This means that with what Wood refers to the maturation and universalization of capitalism, postmodernism continues to criticize, let's say, capitalism with an immoderation that knows no trills. The more the capitalism continues to invade the world, the more postmodernism continues to react to it. So what Kazuo Ishiguro does in his fiction is that he selects some important moments or events and submits them to critical examination and reflexive evaluation in a way that warns against the advent of something bad in the future. In Never Let Me Go, he selects human cloning as one of, if you like, the byproducts of what is called today the scientific developments in biotechnology. In his collection of short stories, he has selected cosmetic surgeries. So these are events that are taking place in the world of today. So, to use the words of Jameson, Ishiguro looks for breaks, for events other than new words, for the telltale instant. The purpose is to show that with the progress of industrialization, as Jameson puts it, nature is gone for good. And this nature, that is the real nature, has been replaced with the second nature. So here we can talk about the idea of Jameson that the word, the advances in biotechnology, in cosmetic surgeries, and in medical, if you like, surgeries have contributed to the death of the real nature, and this real nature has been replaced by the second nature. So Ishiguro aims to highlight that the industry, insensitized by capitalism, exerts its power on the human mind in what can be called the era of the second nature. So we can call the era that we live today, it's the era of the second nature because of the spread. People try to change their faces, their real faces using cosmetic surgeries. We find human clones, let's say, interact with real ones. We find people buy robots and put them in their families to do tasks that are normally made for kids. So we can't talk about the death of the real nature and the coming of the second nature. So the first nature has been spoiled and replaced by, let's say, the second one. So Kazuo Ishiguro, if you like, has introduced intelligence, both the real intelligence and the human intelligence as a commodity. And this is the first point that I'm going to highlight by giving some examples from his books. So Ishiguro is not quarantined, is not isolated from the social, cultural, and scientific realities of the world where he lives. And they have just said he always selects events and important scientific events from the world where he lives. So cosmetic surgeries, human cloning, artificial intelligence, these are topical issues in the world of today. So the industrialization and commodification of intelligence and giving them the power to interact with real flesh and blood people makes it penetrate the world of real humans. And it tries to draw our attention to highlight in an industrialized world combined scientific knowledge. He reflects the concern of many people in the world of today about the existence of the practice of relying heavily upon robots inside and outside families as social cultural institutions. In Clara and Son, for example, the author gives voice to artificial robots to narrate what real humans being do and say how they interact. Clara the narrator is one of them. Ishiguro intimates that there is a risk that in this era of technology and new information, voices of AI robots are heard much more than those of real humans who turn out to be store managers, customers, consumers, and visitors. Kazuo Ishiguro seeks to draw attention to the power of science when it comes to producing economic objects that seduce people and make them vie for getting the latest gadget. In this way, it critically inquires into the world of machines, which Deleuze and Guattari described as being everywhere. Machines are everywhere. So they say machines driving other machines, machines being driven by other machines. So the mechanization of life is one of the main concerns of Kazmi's Guru in his fiction. So he wants to say that these advances in technology has contributed to the mechanization of life. So the machines have invaded our life and turned it, if you like, and killed, if you like, the real human relationships. Ishiguro's approach to scientific knowledge can be described as humanistic. Even in Never Let Me Go, he focuses on the suffering of cloned children whose life is predetermined by the architects of human cloning as business. The human intelligence, both the scientific mind, is manipulated by the architects of the donation programs that seek to gain profits. In Clara and the Sun, Never Let Me Go, the victims of the capitalist scientific knowledge are children. In both books, he focuses on the sufferings of children. The language of business has invaded the human intelligence and geared this intelligence towards serving the interest of the industrialist and makes it commodity-oriented. So once again, Ishiguro is trying to highlight the business relation of this intelligence with the world of industry and capital. The human mind has been bought and paid to produce commodities for given groups of people. So Ishiguro's writings on human cloning, robotic friendship, and cosmetic surgeries reveal that he is not isolated from the world where he lives, and his writings are not amputated of a satiric tone that aims at discrediting the scientific claims of making the human life better and easier. His way of dealing with these topical issues is parodic in the sense that he provides a fictional caricature of what is going on in the world of today, the era of the second nature, as I call it at the very beginning. So if Friedrich Jameson denounces the things that he finds disturbing in the postmodern culture, Ishiguro denounces the aspects he considers nature distorting and real killing in the postmodern science. With Ishiguro, we can say that postmodernism is extended to include criticism of advancements in the biotechnology, robotics, and medical surgeries as forces that have killed the real and replaced this real with what Baudrillard calls the simulacrum. This process of replacement and even erasure is the provenance of this postmodern criticism. Ishiguro adverts upon the logic of capitalism, which dominates the postmodern science, infringes on the rights of children, disregards the important bonds between them and their parents, instills in people beliefs founded on atomism, founded on individualism, and which severs them from their authentic world that ravages the logic of nature. Thus, postmodernism is a style of denouncing this demise of, let's say, this dominance of capitalism. It is a reaction to the irrelationships between man and nature in general, and between scientists and nature in particular. With Ishiguro, postmodernism is averse to the idea of buying human intelligence to commodify everything. He blames scientists, manipulation by capitalists who have economic power. This love of power is fascist, which shows that there is a Foucauldian touch mirrored in Ishiguro's view of power. In his preface to Deleuze and Guattari's and the Anti-Oedipus, Capitalism and Schizophrenia, Foucault makes a clear allusion to this aspect of fascism, which exists in the capitalist mind. So he says that he talks about fascism in our heads and in our everyday behavior, the fascism that comes to cause us, or that causes us to love power. So he wants to say, or the idea here is that the capitalists love power, economic power, the power of money, and they try to use this power to buy scientists. And these scientists create products and commodities that can be used by people in their everyday life. And the outcome of this use is the killing of the real, is the killing of human relationships, is the suffering of kids, is the fragmentation of families, and all these results. So for capitalists and industrialists counts more than anything else. The term consent that has been suggested by Gramsci in his definition of hegemony can be also, let's say, help understand how scientists are monopolized, how scientists work under the authority of those who have power, have power. So scientists accept to be monopolized by the owners of the capital. They put their intelligence on sale, on the market. It's the power of money and greed that lead to consent. This power contributes to the production of consent. So in this way we can say that postmodern knowledge turns out to be a hegemonic strategy. It is a strategy that is used to manipulate people's minds and to manipulate the world in general. So Kazu Ishiguro criticizes the hegemony of the postmodern knowledge, to quote Gonzalez. This knowledge makes real and artificial creatures interact with each other and inquire about the meanings of each other. AFA or artificial friend robots raise questions of each other, raise questions about what it means to be a human. And humans are equally trying to understand what it means to be artificial. Clara, in Clara and Son, talks about seeing people standing, sitting, and moving around inside the store, and others wearing different kinds of shoes with their paper cups and shoulder bags. She is not just a machine to be used by real humans. She is an observer of what these people do, and it is a commentator of what these people do. Clara is the product of the human intelligence, which works under the control of capitalists. She is unsaved in the soul, and thus she can be considered as a symbol of the marketability of intelligence. Ishiguro implies that scientific objects like AFAs unveil the secret agendas of the owners of the economic power to dominate the world by dividing it into real and unreal entities and blurring the boundaries between them. Artificial intelligence can be deemed an important scientific invention, but it cannot survive time, it cannot survive nature, and it cannot survive age as the real intelligence does. The scientific mind, which produces and bolsters the human-robot friendships in Clara and the Sun, is a hostage. Of a capitalist mode of thinking. It works towards spreading the possibility of melting humans with machines in one place, with intent to make materialistic gains. It ends up with mechanizing life and hollowing human minds for warmth and empathy and sympathy. It seeks to control not only the machines it creates, but also its target clients. Ishiguro calls for the need to protect children from the greed of this mind and raise awareness about the risk of being with a machine. Like Never Let Me Go, Clara and the Sun is part of the author's efforts to criticize the brutality of capitalist, science-oriented minds against children. One the first depicts a dystopian society whose victims are cloned kids who have to grow up to donate again and again until they die. The second warns against letting artificial robots impacting the lives of kids. The second part of this culture of commodification in his fiction has to do with beauty as a commodity. Ishiguro deals with physical beauty as a commodity that is on sale in the postmodern world. To have a beautiful face, especially in such domains as art, means to have power. The author seeks to attract attention to the idea that one of the outcomes of capitalism is the creation of generations of people who ran after money and power as a solution to their problems. To use the words of Lefebvre, the solution to man's problems is to be found by sharing, not by sharing our weakness, poverty and mediocrity, but by seeking power and wealth. Everything for them is gravitated around power, which is part of man's greatness and of the beauty of life. In the world of art and music that Kazuo Ishiguro focuses on in his short story entitled Nocturne, people like Lindy, these are names of his characters, seek power and wealth in getting a beautiful face through a cosmetic surgery. They can change their faces as many times as they can. An ugly face for them is a sign of weakness. Capitalists seeks to internalize beauty and through these surgeries and targets basically fields like music and art, where beautiful faces are needed and required. Ishiguro, through his writings, criticizes this capitalist idea, blaming it for killing the real faces. He holds capitalists responsible for what Lefebvre calls a false world, where the real life is simulated. Lefebvre says in his book, A Critique of Everyday Life, we are now entering the vast domain of the illusory reverse image. What we find is a false word, firstly because it is not a word, and because it presents itself as true, and because it mimics real life closely in order to replace the real by its opposite, by replacing real unhappiness by fictions of happiness. Ishiguro is aligned with Lefebvre in that they both blame capitalism for working on creating a false world that replaces the real and authentic one. The real face is replaced with a fabricated one. The world of today, for Ishiguro, is full of illusory reverse images. With capitalism, beauty is on sale on the market. But Ishiguro wants to pass on the message that this beauty is fake and false. It's just a replica of the real one. It cannot last forever. The evidence is that Lindy, one of his characters, has many surgeries, which means that one surgery is not enough to guarantee having an eternal beautiful face. Lindy tells Steve that this is her third time having a cosmetic surgery. She needs to use her money to get a new face when the old one is obsolete because of old age. For his wife, Helen, this is normal. Everyone is doing it. Capitalists have succeeded to normalize this process of having cosmetic surgeries to look beautiful. Altering the real turns out to be a way of success, a way to fame and fortune in the world of art and music. This marketable and changeable nature of the real makes the distinction between it and its different transfigurations ambivalent and misty. An artist cannot have a medical surgery if he is not incredulous towards his own real face. The idea of incredulity is central to the cosmetic operations as a profitable business. It is the commodity system which can sell everything for a lot of money, as Jameson puts it. In the music industry, as Steve points out, what matters most is the image. And here I'm quoting Kazuo Ishiguro, the image and its marketability. Everything is marketable, including faces, hours, husbands, and wives. Ishiguro accuses scientific advances in medical surgeries of creating an atmosphere of incredulity towards the real and advocating the world of the simulated. Ishiguro takes us to a world of false instability and illusion. All that is original is at stake because of the greed of capitalists. Nothing is stable in the postmodern age, including the real. everything is
बहुत दिनों बाद
ancestral,
एक दिन मैं जो है
including human identities,
भोर में
which have been morphed
2:30
time and
बजे
again to fit in this world of continuous change.
मेरा मैसेज
The
जाता था
real
उस
can
टाइम
become
पे।
invisible, just like the faces of Lindy and
ऐसी
Steve in
लाइन
the
आई
story
जिसको
of
लिखने के
Morrocco.
बाद मुझे लगा कि
Steve
अगर
describes
इतनी
himself as
भोर में
invisible.
आइडियाज
I
अच्छे
am still the invisible man.
और ये मैं दिन में
Beauty is
कभी
on
नहीं
sale,
मैं दिखाता हूँ आपको वो लाइन
science is not within the reach of everyone.
इसी
Steve
का
needs
मैसेज था
money
मेरा
to change his real face. His wife Helen leaves him to marry Chris.
ये
The
सरकार
honor
का है
of a string of
मतलब ये मेरा
successful dinners.
मैं
Uncle
अपनी पुत्री से
Washington
कहा
wants
था
to
तो
pay
बोली
all the
पतला लाओ
hospital,
हल्का
all
लाओ
the
कैसा चाहिए
hospital
हमने कहा ऐसा
bills,
लैपटॉप लाओ
recuperation
मजबूत हो
and
रोबस्ट हो
everything.
मैं उसी
Steve
को लेके रिटायर हो
accepts the
जाऊंगा
offer and
अब खरीदना
his
ना पड़े
painful
एक बार एप्पल का
metamorphosis
खरीदी
to
थी
become
वो
someone with a better
संभला नहीं
face.
हमसे
He confesses that his face is painful and the authentic. Can you hear me?
Yes, so we'll give you another 2 minutes to conclude your presentation.
Yes.
ये रन कर रहा है
Painful
लवली
and the anesthetic in
प्रोफेशनल
his
ये
system makes him
ये है अभी
nauseous
assistant
and that he
professor का
doesn't
नाम
sleep
थे
at all, which means that what
है लवली का
advanced by
स्टूडेंट
technology brings is
बेसिकली
visualized
नाम है उसका
painful. I'm going to skip some points because of
नॉर्थ ईस्ट
the
में
time
विष्णु बहुत
constraints.
पॉपुलर नाम
The
है
last commodity in his fiction is
वहाँ एक
emotion.
जाति है उसका नाम है
Ishiguro's
विष्णु
Clara and the Sun is about
हाँ
fear of
एक
loneliness
जाति जिसका नाम है
in the
विष्णु
postmodern age.
वो
The
भगवान
author
कृष्ण
takes
के
us to a
भक्त
sci-fi, science fiction world
कृष्ण भगवान के
where
भक्त
robots
उनके
are
हाथ
endowed with the power to understand human emotions
अच्छा
and help people, namely children,
अंडा
cope
को
with this
छुएंगे
fear of
नहीं
loneliness.
मीट नहीं
Ishiguro
खाएंगे
wants to
मुर्गा नहीं
impart a
खाएंगे
message that the
मछली को
industrial
वेजिटेरियन मानते हैं
human mind has rendered emotions a commodity that can be bought and sold.
एक मेरे को
Robots like
कुछ मिल
Clara
गया विष्णु
are
किया
charged with the task
तो
of
वो
making children
बेचारा
happy.
कहीं मतलब देश में
Parents
काम
who
करता था
cannot
उसका
afford
मालिक
their
उसको बोला
children's
कि तुम अंडा
emotional
चुरा
needs
के
they
खाते
need can go and buy an
आके
iPad like
रोने लगा
Clara
अच्छा
rather
मैं क्या
than
मैंने
Rex
कहा
from
कि
the
मेरे को
store. Happiness
उसमें मैं
and
खाता था मैंने कहा कि मेरे
companionship
को
are
आमलेट बना दो
available
और दाल
on the
चावल
market. But the
एक है
question
रोटी
that
नहीं था रोटी
Ishiguro
नहीं दे
seeks to
पाएंगे
raise
चावल
is
आटा नहीं होता
how can a
चावल रहता है
man-made machine
तो
that is a robot understand
वो बना के ले आया तो
human
बोला दाल नहीं
emotions and cater
दाल
for
नहीं
children's
है और
needs?
की क्या है
This
तो
is
हमने कहा कि
goes
आमलेट
for
में
him
और दे दो
against the
पैसा ले
human
लो
nature and against the human logic.
11 बजे रात
Emotions
को आया
become
बड़े
a
सरल
business
होते हैं
relation
बहुत
between
सरल
producers and consumers in the
रात में
global
11 बजे
commodity
आया गया
market.
तो लौट में
In
11
Clara's
बजे रात
Sun,
को आया और
children
जमीन
are
पे बैठ के मेरा
presented
पैर
as
पकड़ के
lonely
रोने
and
लगा
sad, and parents are
बोला
somewhat
आप हमारे
neglectful of
मेहमान
their
हो
parents, of their parental
आपको
duty.
खिलाना मेरा
The
फर्ज है
strange thing
मुझे
is
माफ कर
that
देना
AI
ये मेरा
robots
था 17-18
replace
साल
negligent
मैं
parents
आपको
who
खाना
are
नहीं
busy
खिला
with
पाया
other things
इसलिए
at the
मैं दुखी
expense
हूँ
of their
ये चीज
children's
नहीं
emotional welfare.
तो हमने
How
पूछा
can
कि
robots
लायक
play
ही
the
नहीं
role
थी
of
जब हमें
parents?
इतना
This
तकलीफ
is
थी
a
तो लायक
distortion, as I have already
बोला
said,
मेरा
of the
मालिक
natural
अंडे
course of
को
life
ताला में
and
बंद कर दिया
a threat to parent-child relationship.
और कहता है कि वो बंद करके चला
Scientific
गया था
knowledge
वो
in the
उसने
fiction
2
of
अंडे
Kazuo
निकाल के दिए
Ishiguro
थे
is blamed
तो
for creating an
वो
atmosphere
कहता है
of
कि
fear,
तुम अंडा चुरा
loneliness,
के
and
खाते हो
chaos inside
तो बोला
families
साहब मैं
and
बेशुक्र
among
प्रिया हूँ
children as
मैं
weak
अंडा कैसे
human
खा
entities.
सकता हूँ
Ishiguro
बोला
laments the death
मैं
of family
विष्णु प्रिया
bonds
हूँ मैं अंडा
under
कैसे
the
खा
banner of
सकता
scientific
साहब
progress.
मैं फूल बेचती हूँ
Ishiguro
मैं
is
कुछ भी नहीं
worried
खाता
about
मैं
the loss
चिकन
of the
खाता हूँ
meaning
मैं
of
मटन
such
खाता हूँ
priceless
ना
things
अंडे
as
को तो
family and
छूता भी
love.
नहीं हूँ
In
बस
his
मैं
report of
मछली
his
बस
interview with
मीट
Kazuo Ishiguro, which was published in The Guardian in 2005, Adams mentioned Ishiguro's
हमने
worry
कहा इतना
that
तगड़ा
precious
वेजिटेरियन
things
जीवन
are
में पहली
threats.
बार मिला
So
भाई
human relationships are under threat. The human emotions
गजब
are
गजब
not
के
for sale.
वेजिटेरियन
They cannot be replaced by artificial ones. This is one of the key messages in the fiction of Kazuo Ishiguro. So to
ये
conclude,
मणिपुर
very quickly please,
मणिपुर
in
में
the three literary works that I have worked
दो
on,
कम्युनिटी है
the
एक
frontiers
मैतेई
between
है
fiction, science,
वो
are
और
obscured,
एक और
if not erased.
क्रिश्चियन जाते
The
हैं
industrial autonomy
हाँ
of
दो बात
scientists is
तो
raped
क्रिश्चियन
and
साले क्या
dismantled
करते हैं
by the
कि
capitalist
आरक्षण
culture.
ले लिया आपने को
Ishiguro blames
कांग्रेस
capitalism
गवर्नमेंट
for
में
depriving
करके
scientists of their freedom,
वो
buying their
जर्नलिस्ट
intelligence,
सोनिया
and
गांधी के
inciting them to
उसमें
deploy their intellectual abilities
दलित
to turn
आरक्षण मांगे
everything in life into a commodity.
वो भी एससी
Upgrading the dystopian side of human intelligence
तो
is a
अब
recurrent topic in
मैतेई
his
और
fiction.
कुकी में
He
लड़ाई होती है
adverts upon the
तीसरी
power of this
कम्युनिटी है विष्णु
mind,
जो
which
बहुत
seeks
सरल
to
है और
restructure
भगवान कृष्ण
and
के भक्त
reshape
हैं उनको दुनियादारी से
nature
कोई नहीं
for
आता
materialistic reasons.
उनका बड़ी
He
पूरी
hints
नाम
at the idea
हमने तो
that
लाइव भी
science
देखा
has
है
a power has been manipulated by industry-oriented minds in a way that serves basically the interests of a bench of capitalists and industrialists who think more about making profits out of science. Thank you very much.
Really, we love to listen you. Indeed, content was knowledgeable and refreshing, ultimate.
On behalf of the organizing committee, we extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Haideri for delivering a truly enlightening and captivating presentation. He generously shared his expertise, providing us with valuable insights. Thank you once again, sir.
You're welcome. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of you and to participate in this international conference. I have learned a lot, actually.
I would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to all our esteemed keynote speakers, Dr. Joshi, Dr. Bashirahishize, and Dr. Haideri. The insights and knowledge by them have truly illuminated our discussion on recent trends in postmodernism. Their expertise, passion, and dedication to their respective fields have enriched our conference and provided us with a comprehensive understanding of the complexities within postmodern thought. Each speaker has brought a unique perspective, contributing to the diversity of ideas that make events like these so intellectually rewarding. Let us express our collective gratitude with a big round of applause for them. Thank you once again.
Dr. Sudhir?
Yes, that's up. So I think it's session is over now. Hello.
Yes, you're audible, sir. You're audible.
Let me tell it that this session is over now, so we will reassemble when?
See, as per the schedule, we are going to start the technical session at 2. But before that, I would like to announce that we have valedictory session at 16:30, I think.
Yes, 14:30.
And then we have vote of thanks at 17 hours. So I would request all the participants to join at 16:30 for panel discussion, for valedictory session, panel discussion, and the feedback session as well. At 16:30 hours, 4:30 p.m.
Okay, thanks. So let us, in this way, with a nice presentation from Morocco, Burundi, and from University of Allahabad. So our session here concludes, and we found the speakers very, very knowledgeable and informative. Their input was really, well received by the, all the participants all around the globe connected with us. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
And I would also like the organizing secretary, Dr. Raman Jaswal as well, to extend vote of thanks to our speakers, Professor Prakash, Joshi, Professor Leon Bashirahishize, and Dr. Haideri as well. So over to Dr. Raman Jaswal, our organizing secretary.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay. I deem it an honor for me to propose vote of thanks to worthy professor from Allahabad University, Professor Joshi, and two eminent resource persons from Burundi and Nigeria, Dr. Leon and Dr. Haideri. It was
sorry to interrupt, Dr. Haideri is from Morocco.
Okay, from Morocco, Dr. Haideri. It was really an honor for all of us to have the people like them, so much learned, so much scholarly people with us. So it was really a pleasure listening to their talk. Thank you from the core of my heart on behalf of the organizing committee. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and also I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks on behalf of myself as well as on behalf of the Achievers Foundation as well to Professor Prakash Joshi. The moment I contacted Sir, he gave his consent in no time, Dr. Raman, and then Leon Bashirahishize also in no time, as well as Haideri, Dr. Haideri as well. So I'm really indebted to all of them for providing their kind consent to accept our invitation to be the keynote speaker of this second international conference. And I expect the same kind or the similar kind of support and cooperation in future as well.
Yes, this is a
thank you, sir.
opportunity to
Yeah,
unite
definitely.
together, and we hope that the Achievers Foundation and in the partnership of LNJH, Government Girls College and Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology, we shall be able to create many more such knowledgeable sessions in coming days.
Professor Singh, Professor Pandey, and everyone, the entire foundation team, I'm really grateful to all of you. And I was listening to all the keynote speeches yesterday and today also from Burundi and from Morocco. Everyone has, all the speakers have put in a lot of effort in preparing their keynote speeches. And I hope and I pray, sincerely pray, this foundation grows and achieves great heights. I do believe it will do with this kind of committed team. I believe it.
We are humbled, sir. We are humbled.
Thank you, sir.
Really humbled and grateful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all. So we'll meet at 2. So Vishnu, we can end this session at present and let us meet at 2 o'clock, right?
Okay.
चले कि यहाँ का इसकी स्क्रीन फुल दिखाइए जरा हम लोगों को.
As we break for lunch, please be informed that we will convene the technical sessions at 2 p.m. sharp. We have an exciting lineup of presentations ahead, so we look forward to your active participation in the upcoming technical sessions. Thank you.
लग रहा है कि बहुत
जल्दी ले लीजिए.
अच्छा.
ऐसे ही छोड़ना के आके कनेक्ट कर लेंगे.
हाँ. ठीक है. और चाय मंगवाना दोबारा ना.
चाय वाले के कहाँ रह
आ गया. आके रख के गया अभी. ये 4 पैकेट यहाँ रखा है.